river, flowing river, rushing river, flowing river. You give life.
We're just here today because there obviously is mercury in fish, and so what we're trying to get through to people is that there should be choices, there should be labels on fish so that there's choices for people to pick the fish that has less mercury or no mercury in it. And especially for pregnant women and little children or women who might become pregnant, it's a very important issue.
Erin with Women's Voices for the Earth, and we are out here today to ask Albertsons to post adequate warning signs about mercury and fish consumption directly on the fish cases. Mercury is a very potent neurotoxin, and it's been linked to learning disabilities in children. It can cause brain damage for a developing fetus, and the best way to prevent that unnecessary exposure is to let women know which fish are safe to eat and which are not. What happens is that when you have bigger fish like swordfish or tuna that prey upon smaller fish that have accumulated mercury, then you've got a buildup of mercury in that fish, which makes them more and more toxic. A report just came out this week that suggests that even one meal of, a can of tuna could be too much for a pregnant woman who has a developing child inside. So we just don't exactly know. And our position is, if we don't really know what's toxic, we should take every precaution we can to avoid any damage.
I'm Alexandra Gorman. I'm the Director of Science and Research for Women's Voices for the Earth. The study that we did, we participated in a national study. We bought two samples of fish from two different Albertsons stores here in Missoula, a sample of swordfish and a sample of tuna steak, and then had them tested by national labs along with other samples from all over the country, testing for mercury levels in these fish. The levels that came back, a lot of them were over the FDA action level of 1 part per million.
As a new mom, I try and do everything I can to protect my growing child from toxins, harmful things in the environment and what I eat. And I can buy organic food, and I can know that that is reducing the level of toxins that my baby's exposed to. But with fish, which is so important for developing brains and nervous system, it's really hard. There's no guarantee to know that I can have a fish free of mercury. But there's a huge difference between some types of fish and other types of fish. And the FDA in 2004 released an advisory informing citizens that certain types of seafood contain high levels of methyl mercury, which damages the nervous system, especially of women of childbearing age who may have children and of children themselves. So the FDA advised women of childbearing age and children not to eat at all shark, swordfish, king mackerel, or tilefish, and to limit consumption of all other fish to only 12 ounces a week, which is about 2 meals, and of albacore tuna, which is consumed in very high numbers, we know, in this country, and tuna steaks of only 1 meal a week, or 6 ounces. And in my opinion, these are conservative, but this is what the FDA has advised us, and we have a right to know this advisory. So some supermarket chains like Safeway and Wild Oats have required all their stores nationwide to post this FDA advisory on their fish counters, which makes a lot of sense, and this is what we're asking for Albertsons to do. And so far they have refused to do that. This is a public health issue that is just based in our right to know what we're putting in our bodies and what we're exposing our developing children to. And finally, stores in California are required by law to post warning signs in the entire state. I want these same rights that California women have in Montana. So stores like Albertsons can do this very easily. They can help us make better, more informed choices when we're purchasing fish. So I hope Albertsons will take this important step. I look forward to patronizing there more often if they do so, and help protect the health of women and children, and post the FDA mercury advisory directly on the fish cases.
Well, my name is Pam Clevenger, and I'm the manager of the meat and seafood department here at the Good Food Store, as well as the grocery department. And the whole issue of methyl mercury in the ocean and in seafood and in freshwater fish has been in the news for a couple of years now, and it's just been gradually building and building until it finally became obvious to us that it really was a health issue, and it just seemed to be the right thing to do, particularly since we're a store that tries to promote good health. And when we saw that Wild Oats started posting last year, we decided it was time for us to do the same thing. The sign just tells the facts, and that's something that is a responsibility for retailers. We need to educate the public, and we need to let the public educate us, which is what happened with the methyl mercury issue. And I just hope that by posting these signs, people become aware of the problem of the pollution, where that mercury is coming from, and eventually maybe we can help control the emissions and eventually decrease the problem of pollution in our waters.
Rushing river, quiet river, flowing river, rushing river, flowing river. You give life, you give life, you give life. And the song I sing, it's a prayer I bring, it's a song to the river. And the song I sing is a prayer I bring to give thanks to the river. In the mountains where the snow falls, in the mountains where the snow falls, in the mountains give life, you give life, you give life.